All right, we're here for another episode of the Small Business Spotlight. We got a very special guest, Anthony Perdomas. He's a Main Street Cafe. I don't even know if Anthony knows this, but when we opened up in Royersford, I was with one of my comics, Richie Byrne, and we tried to walk in to Anna Marie's first, and they were already closed down. So we walked down to Main Street Cafe. You instantly made me feel good because you're wearing a Pittsburgh hat.
Heck yeah.
And I'm originally from Pittsburgh. All four of my grandparents grew up in Uniontown. So that was it. But then I walked in, and on special, you had Gino's and Pat's and Gino's cheesesteak omelet, which I've seen a few times. But it happened to be on Gino's birthday. And I just thought that as like a wild sign to me.
I didn't know that. I didn't know it was on his birthday. I remember you coming in for the first time, and I was like, all right, man. And then when you opened up down there, that was 2019.
Yeah, 2019.
November 2019, was it?
Yeah, BC, before COVID.
Man, yeah.
Feels like another lifetime
you had
ago.
what, 3 months of freedom?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Your first 3 months in business of freedom, and then, and then, all right, alter course.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was one of those things where like you have your small business, I have mine, and we always work together and cross promoting.
100%.
And it's a close knit community in Royersford, man.
100%, brother. I mean, we were glad to have you, man. It's awesome out here, man. We love it here.
Yeah. And how long have you had Main Street Cafe?
It's been 12 years now.
12 years.
January will be 12 years, and the town's been great to us. Everybody's been so supportive through the whole time.
Yeah.
It was great. I mean, COVID hit us too, and luckily I was into it for a few more years than you were. So, but it wasn't easy.
Yeah. Well, and I noticed like little things that you guys do too, like you give back to the community. We do our fundraisers here, but you guys did. What did you give free coffee to veterans on Veterans Day? You did some
free meals.
Free meals, right? Not just coffee.
We do free meals on Veterans Day every year, and then this year we started every Thursday for Thank You Veterans Day.
Okay. So it's not just
every Thursday. Veterans can come in and get a free meal.
Okay.
It's off a selected menu, of course. Small business can only do what I can, but I just, the veterans these days, they just. I don't want to say they get the shaft, but they should be treated a little bit better, and
you don't forget that.
Oh, 100%, man, 100%. I mean, that's if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. So
yeah,
I mean, there's nobody that has such a direct impact on what we're gonna do and what we've done.
Yeah,
than veterans. So.
Well, we talked off camera about having to hustle ourselves and not having help.
Yeah.
Necessarily.
We were the help.
Yeah.
We were the help.
Right. Right.
I mean,
right.
there was no budget for help.
Both you and I wear several hats despite not having one on right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There was. It was in the beginning, man. Man. It's just you or just me and just. What little staff we could have together, and luckily, I'm sure you have people that, are still with you from day one.
Yep.
Same
exactly.
thing with me, and we've grown together, and I'm sure you feel just as much that they're a part of Soul Joel's just as much as you are, if not more. If not more, because they're the ones that make it happen and everything. So, kudos to our staff and everybody who's made our dream work, I guess.
Yeah. Well, there was a girl that came to one of my shows and she stopped. It was a comic that was from LA, doesn't get to come to the East Coast very much, and she stopped at the merch table and she goes, "Oh, I didn't have $30, whatever she said. I took it like she didn't have the cash on her." And I go, I was like, "Oh, I can pay for it if you want to pay credit card or something." And she goes, "No, I don't have $30. And it hit me because it wasn't right before the pandemic, like 5 years ago, I was hustling for Uber to try to make some extra. So like, I always believe in paying it forward, just like you're doing with the veterans. And when I did that, I grabbed her and I took $30 out of my pocket and gave it to the manager of the comedian. And he pushed it back and paid it forward again.
Good.
But that girl went home and gave us a 5-star review, and was like, you know, and I didn't do it for that reason.
Exactly.
But it's amazing how that comes back.
And that's the best time when, you know, when you just do it and then all of a sudden, you know, it ends up kind of spiraling into more and more good things happening with people, and you see kind of the good coming out rather than like, you know, I mean, sometimes when you hear the phone ring and somebody wants to talk to you, you're like, oh no, what happened? You know?
Yeah.
Things, man,
You're like, this is either gonna be really good or really bad.
When the good things happen, man, it's nice. It's nice, and we don't think like, hey, I'm doing this for a review or for anything else. It's just, you know, who we are, and that's what we do. You know, and I think that's what people see the most, is that they just when we do our stuff, it's because that's who we are.
Right.
You know.
Well, and you still work the line. Do you think people customers come in probably just to see you also, like and knowing that they're supporting you because you're there?
I think they used to. Now they've gotten used to my.
I think that used to be the case.
That used to be the case, but now they've heard me sing, and so I see a lot more people sitting in the back room now rather than up front. You know? So yeah, they've heard me sing, and that was like, all right, we'll sit in the back now. So.
Dude, you know what's so funny? Being in the comedy business, I thought you were trying to say something a different way, like not actually singing. Like I thought you were trying to say like they've heard your stories too many times.
Oh no!
You're talking about actual singing.
Actual singing, yeah. I mean, that's what keeps my powder dry on the line, man. Is when I, you know, when I'm on the line and that stress hits and a song comes on, you know, and my dishwasher, he plays the cheesiest 80s stuff in the back. I don't know why. You would never, every time you look at him, you would think
Karma
like,
Chameleon.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, it's so bad. It's so bad. And but he loves it, and every once in a while a song will come on, and we'll just bust out.
So in the restaurant business, they say it's when you're stressed out or getting behind, it's in the weeds, obviously.
Yeah.
So what gets you through the weeds is singing.
As I start singing.
Really?
Oh yeah. Because
it doesn't matter what type of music, or it just helps take your mind off of things.
It helps me relax a little bit.
Okay.
And it helps me, like you said, take my mind off a little bit of like really what's going on and the stress that's happening around. But you know, when I hear a song I know and I kind of, you know, can get into it, it helps me kind of relax so that I can think about what I'm doing better and organize everything a little better. And also it relaxes people around me because then they can laugh at me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, and hopefully the people at the counter will just laugh and not,
yeah,
you know.
Well, there's very few times that I'm not working and go somewhere else. But when I do go somewhere else, I think it's what you said. Like, we're more stressed. I'm caught up in it because we know what's happening. But I don't think as customers, they're not as hyper focused unless like the service is really bad. Like, as long as they're getting serviced and addressed in a timely manner, I don't think it's as bad as we make it out to be.
And you know, and since, you know, I don't have like a back kitchen, like I'm in front right there.
It's all visible.
Yeah. I mean, we're right there doing it, and yeah. So people see everything that I'm doing, and
right.
So.
The wait staff can't say they're working on it. You're like, I don't see any eggs on the grill.
Like, I can't yell at anybody without a customer hearing or something like that, so there's no point in yelling or anything. So, you know, and like I said, I mean, you know, like I said before, I have a lot of people that have been with me for a long time, so they know it just like I know it, so there's no sense in yelling at them. I'm sure they're doing the best that they can.
Right.
Too, so, I mean, it's not like yelling at anybody's going to do anything better, but...
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the more fun we have back there, the more fun the customers have. You know that. You know,
yeah.
Just like in your business. You know, the more fun that they're seeing you guys have. You know.
Right. It's contagious.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, I know another thing that probably takes your mind off of things. A video that we did a year ago is the old cars.
The old cars. Yes.
So that's another passion that you have and a hobby.
Yep.
Probably takes your mind off of things.
Yep. I love the classics. I have a '38 Buick.
Looks like it should be out of the movie Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
Any gangster movie.
It is. It's fun to drive. It gets a lot of looks, you know, and it's not like bought it probably 3 years ago now. You know, and I was looking at the newer cars, and I was like, you know what, I've never had a classic, and I don't know anything about cars. Just so you know.
Oh, really?
No,
Because
no.
I don't even know how to change my own oil.
Exactly. I like.
If I get a flat tire, I'm calling AAA. Like, that's where I'm at.
It's funny. Like, I have a second car. It's a '05 Trailblazer.
Okay.
And I just got it back from inspection and everything. I'm driving it down 422, and I get to Audubon, and the thing bursts on fire.
No.
Like, the whole
Wait,
engine-
how long ago was this?
Last Friday.
Oh, jeez.
Last Friday. I got it back Thursday.
So
I took
new.
it out Friday. Boom, right there. And so I pull off the exit. I get the hood up. Flames are coming through. Now, anybody who pulls off to the side of the road and opens up their hood, unless it's like a loose battery cable, you don't know what the hell you're looking at, you know?
Right.
So, I mean,
Right.
you open up the hood like, okay, I'm hoping it's just like a loose wire or a cat got in here or something.
Just closer flames.
But yeah, so I'm off on the side of the road. Now this is my second vehicle, so I have nothing in the car. Like if it was my truck, no problem. I have all
Right.
kinds of shit in there.
Just get
But,
get yourself out of the vehicle.
But yeah, I'm there. I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh man. So I'm like looking around. I'm like, how do I put this out? I grab my hoodie and I'm trying to put it out with my hoodie, but there's all kinds of cables and everything, so I can't quite get to it. So I'm like, oh man. I'm looking around and then find some old beer bottles over there. They're empty, of course. But then I find this old milk jug and it's like 1/3 full, and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be bad. So I grab the milk jug and I pour the milk on there. And finally, the flames went out. But my mechanic hasn't seen the old milk all over the engine yet. So.
Oh, he hasn't seen it.
No. I had towed it back to my place. That's it, man. That's this is going to be a 2024 project. I'm done with 2023. So this is gonna roll into next year. I'm done fixing cars for 2023. So.
And now, so have you always been into classic cars, or?
For like the past maybe 20 years.
Okay.
Since I've gotten a little bit older, and I've grown appreciation for kind of the older things, or maybe the way things used to be and things like that. But a lot of the older cars I can't fit into.
Right.
Okay, because they're just too small. So this happened to be a resto mod, so I was able to kind of. It has all new interior and everything. Like it has power seats, power steering, all that stuff. Because, like I said, I know nothing about cars. So, but anyway, I got that one because I could fit in it, and that was it, So, but now I'm looking. I might go with something a little bit newer because of the fact I don't know anything about cars, and it's really pointing out the fact to me that I don't know anything about cars, having an old classic car and having to get it because there's always you just don't drive it enough to be just hop in it and go.
Yeah,
everything's got to be warmed up. Everything you got to check all the fluids, everything all the time. So
yeah, it's not like getting to work and jumping in and going right away.
When you don't have fuel injection, that's a whole different ball game, man.
Yeah,
that's a whole different ball game when you're dealing with carbureted engine but. You know what? Once it gets going, once it gets started, man, they're so much fun to drive.
Yeah, and just go on a Sunday. Well, not.
Yeah, well, not for me, but for other people in the world who paid attention in school, and get to have weekends off. Yeah, they can take those Sunday drives.
Your Wednesday or
but
Thursday.
For me, for me, guys who didn't pay attention to school, Wednesdays and Thursdays are our days off. So.
Yeah, no, that's like me. Mondays, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you also are involved in the car shows, right?
Yeah, I used to when I first opened. Like you were saying before, just trying to do anything to make the business successful.
Yeah.
On Friday nights, we were doing dinners.
Okay.
And we would do a car show in the parking lot across the street from me.
Oh yeah.
A small little car show and everything. And that's kind of where I started meeting people with older cars and started learning more and more and more about prices and which cars to kind of avoid or which,
popping the hoods, checking out the engine.
And not having any clue of what I was looking at, without the milk all over it, of course, But there was a lot of cool guys that came up and women that came up and this one woman had a gorgeous '69 Corvette, just a gorgeous one. I mean, it was convertible. It was this brown copper color. Ah, beautiful. She used to show up every week, and and I'm not really too muscle car guy like the GTOs and the Chevelles and things like that. That's just not really my style. But I kind of go earlier or later on those because I have a C4 Corvette too.
Okay. Oh wow.
Know? Yeah, we're C4 Corvettes are like the lowest rung on the Corvette scale. Okay. It's like the entry level Corvette if you want one. That
sounded fancy to me.
Yeah, that went from 84 to 94.
Okay.
Those models, or 96 or something like that. But we're gonna turn it into a Bandit edition.
Okay.
So we're gonna put the big screaming chicken on the front and everything. So we'll see how it all turns out.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And so do you come up with? 'Cause I always see like you post up the specials.
Oh, you're one of the three? All right, man. All right. It's funny. This is what I was telling everybody.
I'm one of the three.
Well, I posted a thing yesterday about relationships, and you saw it.
Yeah.
You see how many shares and likes I got on that thing? 100.
Yeah.
Look at
people love drama.
Look at when I post the specials. 3. I get 3. I get 2 likes and 1 share.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why can't you guys do this when I post the specials?
I know, man. Yeah, well,
I'm just like, I'm done with relationships. Boom, 100 shares and likes. Here's my specials for the week. Something you guys can actually use.
You even had one lady that said we should have a support group.
Yeah. I was like, hey, let's go up to Gatsby's and have a support group every Friday night. We'll have a single support group, called the SSG, and and we'll go up there and we'll have name tags and everything.
But it's tough, man. I mean, I know just running a business, like very few people understand what it's like to. They don't understand. Like they go 9 to 5 or whatever it is, and they clock out.
Yeah.
We don't have the ability to clock out, regardless of what day it is, and things always change.
And there's a lot of things that kind of, because we're kind of in the customer service business.
Yeah.
And we deal, we hope we see a lot of people during the day.
Yeah. Right.
So
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed that we see a lot of people during the day.
Yeah.
So when we go on vacation or we want to relax, we seek more isolation.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're dating somebody like, somebody who works in an office or something like that, they want to be around a whole bunch of people
Party.
on their time.
Let's go. Yeah.
So it's like it always kind of butts heads after a while. You can play the game for a little bit, because they are women, and you want to be around them and everything like that. But after a while, you're like, hey, why don't we just go to the lake or something? Why don't we just go to a little bit more seclusion?
Yeah.
And,
I never even thought about that angle.
It's like because it's just there's so many opposites. Like on Saturday, I got to be there at 4:30 in the morning on a Saturday, so. People who paid attention to school get to be out late on Friday nights.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah, right.
So,
but also, do you think too? It's like people always say like, oh, well, you should get out and have fun, but I'm out so much with my work, like, and I'm sure it's you too. It's like I'm just thinking about the isolation comment you made.
Yeah.
A lot of times for me, I'm like, when I'm not working, I don't want to be out. Like,
exactly.
Because I don't like even though it's not, people don't look at it as work. Like the conversating of people or singing on the line, like that all exerts energy that you're not used to doing, like you don't want to do.
Exactly. We do that the 5 days a week or 6 days a week. And so the 1 day or 2 days we have off is kind of more like, all right, let's calm down, let's refocus, things like that. Not let's go out and
right.
Fill the hours with other people and things like that. I mean, I like tomorrow, I'm going out, I'm taking my dad and my nephew and my buddy, and we're going down, playing golf down there. And I love golf, Well, I don't really love golf, okay? But I love the fact of being out and doing something on the golf course, kind of by myself a little bit,
Right. That's isolation again.
Yes. Yeah. And I walk when I walk when I play. I don't ride in the carts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I don't know where my ball's going to go. So I hate, during COVID, it was great because you had your own cart. So because you weren't allowed to share anything during COVID.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
So they could only book as many tee times as they had carts.
Yeah.
So it was great. You had your own cart and everything, and 2.5 hour rounds. Golf was great during COVID. That was the one positive of COVID.
Right.
But now when you have to share a cart and your ball goes over here and your guys and your carts over there, you're like, man, I might as well just walk.
Right. Well,
and I get the exercise. That's the only exercise I get besides standing.
I was gonna say
grill,
you're walking around the whole time, yeah.
So,
but even when you're not off, like getting up at 4:30 in the morning, like what time sleeping in to you is probably like 6 o'clock, right?
I usually go to bed around. I go to bed whenever I can, I should say.
Okay.
So I mean, there's, if I go to a show or something like that down in the city on a Friday night, yeah, I'll be up till 1, have to wake up at 4:30 again and do it. But there's no way I'm doing anything Saturday,
Right.
Saturday, sleeping 6:30, boom, I'm in there. But yeah, if I'm home and there's nothing, like I don't even have a plant or a dog or nothing that relies on me for life. Okay. So it's just me. So if I'm home,
same.
So if I'm home, I'm like, all right, well, it's 6:30. I mean, if I'm feeling a little tired, I might as well just go to sleep.
Right. Well, and you did end up last Saturday night bringing out your nephew that you just mentioned.
Yep.
Did they enjoy the comedy show?
Oh yeah.
Dude, he was on fire.
They are both realtors.
Okay.
Well, that was I gotta say, that was the best opening I've ever seen you do.
Thanks,
man.
That
night, man. That night, that crowd was so and it was a great crowd too. It was a great crowd. I mean, I think even me at 51, I think I was the youngest one there. But
yeah.
It was such a great crowd. I mean, that crowd was just going crazy from the get go, and you just poured gasoline on the fire.
Yeah.
And then the comics came up, and they were great. And Caparua did not disappoint. I mean, that guy is so gifted to me that he just comes off with just a funny, and there's funny guys, and then there's funny guys that have things written for them.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think he's one of those guys that just is funny. Like if you were just to go out to dinner with him, he would just attract everybody around his table, and that
just
would be it.
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys.
But then I was talking about Bobby Kelly. Didn't you come to Bobby Kelly last Saturday?
Which one was Bobby Kelly?
Bald-headed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he was.
Yeah. I know. The weeks all blend together.
His show was a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who he was.
Okay.
But my nephew did.
Oh, okay.
And my nephew's like, I want to go see him up at Soldiers, and I was like, oh well.
Yeah.
If you guys are gonna come up here, let me see if Joel has some tickets.
Yeah.
So ended up being that. But he's one of those guys that I was just like, don't make eye contact.
Oh, yeah.
He really didn't have any material. His whole material was just
talking to the crowd.
Talking to the crowd, and that's a gift too. That is a gift
dude,
too.
So he went on his he does a radio show on Sirius XM Monday through Thursday with Big J Okerson.
Okay.
He's the guy that got dragged off the stage in Royersford.
Really?
Yeah. And it was like, it made like national news. And so I knew something was up because Monday night they tweeted the article from Page 6. Now, I thought when I had the interview that it was fake.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave this outlandish like quote and just forgot it. And then hours later, people were like, dude, you're on the front page of Page 6 talking about, and so everybody's like, well, this happened 4 years ago. Why are you posting about it? So they brought it up that Bobby Kelly was just at Soul Joel's. He said he hadn't seen a crowd that hot in years. It's like the hottest comedy club right now. And he said, he goes, before COVID, I would have never came to Pottstown, PA, but now some Chinese woman coughed in someone's mouth. And now because of COVID, Soul Joel's is the comedy mecca.
And it's the truth. I mean, it is the truth. Like, you built something here that's like, who knew starting like
that small place, 140 seats, man.
It's just a joy to see it all, to see it all happen, like it's all just like from there to building your own stage in the parking lot, but mostly across the street. In Royersford.
Yeah.
And I remember people sitting in coats in their chairs and just doing whatever you had to do. And then I don't know where the idea from the dome. Did you come up with that idea?
No. Anything cool or resourceful was my sister. I paid attention slightly more in school, but not as much. It was my sister, man. So my sister was in the Navy, and she researched and looked up at the fact that the dome, that structure, it's mostly for agricultural uses.
Okay.
And it keeps it cooler, 20 degrees cooler in the summer, deflecting the sun, and then reflecting the sun, and then also in the wintertime it kept it 20 degrees warmer because it kept the heat down. But it was open in the front, open in the back, so it was COVID friendly.
Yeah.
So it technically wasn't inside.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
I mean, that was so awesome. And then, was your first act in the Dome Jim Brewer?
No.
I mean, your first bigger. I mean,
it was actually it was supposed to be these two guys, Are You Garbage, and then and then Daryl Hammond from Saturday Night Live,
yeah.
but it ended up being Aunt Mary Pat the drag queen.
Okay, yeah.
But it was December 20th, and then we didn't make money in that November, December, January. Then our first act that we made money was Chris DiStefano, and then Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, Dice.
Dice
came down. Yeah.
Two acts that got us out of the red.
That's another guy. Like I feel like now like those guys kind of owe you. You know. Like for you bringing comedy to here and all the shows and everything like that. Like it's nice when those guys come back, and we see them again. And you know, the highlights of all the shows is when they make fun of you. You know, like that's always the highlight of all the shows. When they make fun of you or the big litter box.
Yeah.
That is just.
Well,
I love that stuff.
Talk about Bobby from Saturday night. The cord kept going out.
Yes.
And so it got caught on the stage,
Yeah.
and so I got the wireless mic, and I was like, check. And he goes, could you just not do that again?
He's like, it's all in here, you know, it's all like the ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this place is definitely haunted.
Yeah.
So if you could not have like.
I remember he's like, what the hell's going on? Like up on stage, you know, he's like.
Yeah.
Looking into his mic, like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Because you were like hiding behind the pole. You were like, check.
Yeah.
You should do that every once in a while to the guy, you know? Do whatever.
Yeah. Hey, you. Yeah. Dude, it's so funny. And but I think it was great that you brought your nephew. Like, you think that kind of experience like bonds you guys together too? Like,
of course. I mean, he's he's my brother's son.
Yeah.
And he's the oldest of my nephews. I don't have any. My youngest nephew now is like 21.
Okay.
So I don't have any young
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, now we can kind of start doing fun stuff together.
Yeah.
Because he's on his own, like he's got his own house and everything like that, and he's single too. I don't know if he learned that from me, but he's single too. So he likes to go to concerts, and you know, we like to do a lot of the same shit together. So
that's cool, man.
And when he mentioned here, I was like, hell yeah, man, I'm in. Come on.
Yeah.
You know.
To go out together.
Heck yeah. And now that you have Gatsby's down there, that's awesome to come here, grab a few drinks, grab a bite to eat, and then just walk right across the hallway.
I know.
Into the show.
Well, and it's one of those things where it's like you just talked about, like talking about your relationship and then posting up the menu. It's like I've been trying to promote the restaurant, and because back in Royersford we were bring your own food and bring your own drinks and always teaming up with other. But now we have the ability to have our own stuff. But it's like I don't know, short of sending out smoke signals, how to get the word out there, man. But it's slowly happening.
Yeah, I mean it will. It's believe me, it slowly happens. Okay?
Yeah, like the word of mouth.
Because like I was saying before, we don't have like if you had a financial backer that was willing to put $100,000 into advertising.
Yeah.
Okay. And just blast billboards and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would do it, but it would take you so much to recoup all that.
Yeah.
And we don't. First off, we just don't have that.
Right.
To even think about recouping it.
Yeah.
So
cash this check today.
Yeah, we're just like you know, hey you come here. Come down here and grab a meal. You know. You know. So as far as like your venue, man, it's just it's so great that you have the shows. Now it's like one-stop shop.
Yeah.
You know, it's like boom, you got everything from soup to nuts, and then afterwards you can grab a drink here. It's almost like Xfinity Live.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You go there before the game.
Yeah.
Go see the game, come back. You know, and then post game. Yeah.
Well, I want to talk more about Main Street Cafe. It's in Royersford. You got to go check it out. It's open 7 days a week. That's one thing I learned from you too. It's like you gave advice to me. Like right now we're closed on Sundays and Mondays, but you're like just be open every day because people don't even have to think about it. They can come anytime. They just know that you're open. So you talked about singing on the line. Was there anything that you sang that like because with me when I'm on stage they're dissecting every word I say and they think it's going to be funny. But with you, they might not expect you to say something funny or sing. Are there any like stories you could think of that made people laugh, or a song you might have sang that got people?
When about a couple of years ago,
Yeah,
I had to and I don't know how they did this. It's kind of scary how they did this. But
I already like how this is starting.
Well, the IT department from Springford,
okay,
always came in, and then they would always hear me singing, so they changed my Wi-Fi password to Singing Cook. Okay.
Oh, that's right.
I have no idea how they got in to change my password. It's a little scary that people could just come into your restaurant and change your password
and hack it.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I was like, well, at least they didn't, at least they used it for good and not for evil.
Yeah, right.
I was like, oh, all right,
and it's just been like that ever since.
Yeah, and I know cheesy music. Like, I don't really know much of good music.
Right.
So when I'm singing, people are like, "Oh my God, he actually knows the words of this song." So like you said, Karma Chameleon or something.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to admit that they know the words to it, but everybody knows the words.
And they can't stop singing.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. So like when somebody sings it and sings it real bad, it kind of livens up a little bit and.
Yeah. So they were on like the line or whatever, or just in that room and they heard it.
Sometimes all three of us will just sing or dance or something, we'll do a little temptation thing.
Yeah.
We're not good at it though. It's like the Untemptations.
Right.
But we try. We try, and it helps us to get through the day and everything like that.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I mean, my guys, three of us on the line have been there. 8 out of the 12 years the three of us have been together.
Yeah.
So,
and now being there for 12 years, you kind of know, like I haven't, and part of like the last 4 years was COVID, so there's not like projections right now, but like
you won't know for a little while.
Yeah, but for you, like, all right, like right after the new year, we might be slow, or like whatever it is, like you kind of know like the ebbs and flows of your business now, like what days are going to be busy and not.
When did you open the restaurant?
June 6th of this year. Yeah, June 6th.
So you haven't been through the holiday?
Mm-mm.
Okay, all right.
So we don't know if it's going to be crazy or slow.
Well, typically the biggest week for restaurants is the week between Christmas and New Year's.
Okay.
Okay, because everybody's off. And, I know from I worked in the corporate restaurants for a while.
Okay.
And that's why they give so many deals for gift cards. Okay, because then people use their gift cards. They get them on Christmas. And they want to use them up right away, and they can go out with family. So, boom.
Yeah. Oh, I got this. Put your money away.
Exactly.
I got
Here
this.
You go. Here's 3 gift cards that somebody gave me that I'll never use.
Yeah.
And really, like when you do gift cards, it's like 50% of them get turned in.
Not funny.
So, it's like you give them out, but people. I mean, how many times you use gift cards, and how many times you get them?
Yeah.
It's great when people are gonna use them and everything like that.
Yeah.
And
even the donations, I know, so and so's having a raffle.
Heck yeah! I mean that is the best advertising anybody can do is to have somebody that you can feel comfortable enough that the best advertising you can do is to have somebody come in your place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So having people know about it and everything like that is one thing, but the more things you can do to get people in, and then once they break that barrier of coming in and they know what to expect, they know the price point, they're familiar with it, they will come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you get it too. It's like every time that you're coming in, especially the last 2 shows that you've talked about, you say something that it's always music to my ears. You're like, I have a party of 3, or I have a party of 4, or whatever it is, and you're like, and they're newbies.
Yeah.
They're not your friends that I've met before. You're like, and that's amazing because you're taking them to dinner and then the show, and that's actually how we got this one birthday party. This husband and wife, and they're like, the wife just turned 30. They came over and they hadn't been to one of our shows before, and they're brand new from Royersford. They had never been to Royersford. They're brand new for here in Pottstown, but they live across the street. So the general manager sent them into a show, and they loved it. The husband came back and was like, I want to throw my wife's 30th birthday here. Like, it was like getting them high.
Yeah.
And they're like, I want to experience that again. Like that joy of like going to dinner, going to, a show.
And that was always my intention was that, when we did the advertising pieces and things like that, that I would have like 2 open tickets that I would be able to kind of give to customers that come into my place that
Yeah.
have never been here before.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, go check this out. You
Yeah.
know, here's to go down there, because I mean that is it's double beneficial for you. One, you get packed, you get more people in the seats, so the
Yeah.
comedians are like, hey, all right, more
Yeah,
people here. But two, you get people that have never been here before to break through that barrier
Yeah.
of not knowing what it's about to knowing what it's about. That is the key almost to any business.
Yeah.
You know, almost
Yeah.
to any business is just that key right there. The more people you can make familiar with your place, the more that they feel comfortable coming in, the more that they will come in, and then the more that they'll bring newer people with them.
Yeah.
You know, and then it just grows from there. And but you got to also have faith that your part of the business is going to hold up its end of the bargain too.
Yeah, right.
You know, because you can definitely turn it away.
Yeah.
You know, it can go go real quick the other way.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I learned that from my dad. My dad's his whole life has been a traveling salesman, and he always said like, I have a goal. I want to go to all 50 states, and I have to eat, not drive through, not fly over. And he would always say when he was traveling, he would go where all the locals go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't just stop at McDonald's. Like, you know what you're gonna get.
Exactly.
But it's better to like get the local flair. Well, every time on a Saturday or Sunday you're driving by, I mean, there's a line out the door at your place, man. You can always tell like that's where the locals want to go, whether it's church or whatever it is.
And it's
Which is why that's not your day off.
exactly. And it's amazing that like you don't realize that stuff until you get older. You know, that like, or until you open up your own business and be like, okay, other small businesses, you know, we all work together, we all patronize each other and things like that, and it's you know, it's just great. And then like just like when you go on vacation, it's okay to do the touristy things, but it's nice when you can get some local flavor,
Yeah.
and get in with the locals and do those type of things, you know.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice, man.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming in, man, and
Yeah,
we're
man.
gonna post this up, and don't go check out Anthony's Place, Main Street Cafe, and Main Street in Royersford.